the mistake of under communicating. By the way, I don't think that there's the mistake of over communicating. I was joining a team where I didn't know much about the work. That made it more challenging for me to be an effective manager for so many different individuals. My boss in this role recommended that I just choose the 3 most experienced people to take on management work for this team. And I decided to do that because I didn't think I had a better option. It seemed like these 3 individuals not only were the most experienced in the team, but also very high performers. I made what now I think of as a pretty classic management mistake of just promoting someone into a role because they're doing a good job in the lower level one. I put these 3 experienced individuals into the roles of managers. None of them had been managers before, but 2 of them grew into the management role really well. They demonstrated an aptitude for learning about being a people manager. They demonstrated excitement about getting feedback from their team and figuring out how to do better and how to provide guidance to their team and all the basics of being a people manager of individual contributors who are doing work. The other one really struggled. And it was clear that this person was struggling because their team was not performing nearly as well as the other 2 teams. I wanted to give some grace for that because they all had slightly different responsibilities. These were teams that were divided up by region. And whenever you have teams that are divided by region, there's a lot that goes into performance that's simply out of their control because different regions of a country, of a world can just perform differently for a bunch of different reasons. Seasonality looks different. The individual customers look different, all kinds of stuff. So I wanted to give some grace for that. But beyond that, it was clear that this person's team wasn't having nearly as effective one-on-ones, which I was learning about through the check-ins with them. They were not having quote unquote team meetings in the same way where they were talking through goals for the week. It was just a quick update. What's everyone doing? A stand up more than a team meeting. And it was also clear that this person was struggling individually with being a manager because they were very stressed all the time. I tried to give some feedback on how it was going and what could be done to improve performance. And I didn't really see much improvement, but I also, and this is a mistake on my part, I think felt uncomfortable giving feedback because it appeared to me as if this person was particularly sensitive to critical feedback. Given that they were already very stressed, I worried that providing them critical feedback at any given moment might really put them over the edge and make them unable to perform at all. So I unintelligently decided not to be direct with my feedback. One day, this manager who was struggling came to me in our one-on-one and broke down. They started crying almost unprompted when I asked just how it's going. They explained to me just how much of a struggle this role was and that they were really unhappy in it. And they wondered if it might make sense to go back to the original role that they were in where they had been incredibly successful. First, I attempted to comfort them and say, hey, any new role is hard, but I hear you. I definitely don't want you to be unhappy. I think that people should be in roles where they feel they can learn and be successful. And it sounds like this is not quite the right role for you. So let me think about how to approach this and we'll talk again in a couple of days. In the intervening time, I thought, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. They are not doing a good job in the role, and it seems like they want to stop doing the role. This solves both problems, the performance problem and the personal problem that they're having with the role. Great. I had another conversation with this person and I said, we'll move you back to the previous role you're in, no change in compensation, don't want you to be punished for shifting roles, and we will bring another manager in to run the team. I thought, great, this went really well. They seemed hesitant when I said this to them, but thanked me, and overall they seemed a lot less stressed after that. A little while later, my boss, who did check-ins with my direct reports, what we call skip levels, said, you have overall incredible feedback from your direct reports, except this one person who you put back into an individual contributor role. I thought to myself, I wonder why that is. I felt like I was doing this person a favor by moving them back to this role. And it seemed like it was better for everyone because their team was also struggling and were clearly much happier when this person went back to the original role. What could be happening here? My boss said, this person felt like they brought up to you concerns in an emotional and anxious moment, and you took those concerns and turned them into taking their job away. So what I had perceived to be someone coming to me and saying, I really am unhappy in this role, and I think I should go back to my other role, was actually them saying, I don't feel like I'm doing a good job, and I'm looking for comfort that it will be okay, that I am capable of this, that they were going to get support from me. And I simply interpreted it as they said they want to go back to their other role. Well, I'll let them go back to their other role. I wasn't actually listening, or I was taking what they said at face value and not understanding the nuance of what they were saying. And what I was really actually trying to do was solve my own problem of they were doing a bad job. I ultimately talked to this person and said, hey, I understand now what happened. To be clear, I think this decision, while it was made maybe not through the best process, was the right one. I don't think this organization has the support you need in order to develop into an amazing people manager right now. Not to say that you never will be a people manager, but I do think that this is a better fit for your skill set and what the organization needs right now. But I am really sorry for making that decision based on you coming to me and saying you were unhappy, rather than me trying to comfort you, help you develop, and then making that decision only once we really exhausted all the options. So I apologized for it. But I think the lesson here was that because I avoided that original difficult conversation with this person, I knew they weren't performing well, and I was purposely avoiding being direct about it because I was worried that I'd put them over the edge. I actually made things a lot worse later on and for a lot longer. I think that person will never think of me as a great people manager. I think the organization probably suffered from this person's shift back and forth between roles. And that person may, for a long time, lack trust in the organization and lack some of the drive to really succeed and achieve their potential. It was because I avoided that difficult conversation with them in the beginning. This was the mistake I was talking about of under communicating. I chose to withhold information, and that ended up being to everyone's detriment, including my own.